Okay, ninth graders. Today we are going to begin talking about energy. And we just got done talking about work and then simple machines. And in order to do work, we have to have energy. And according to the book, energy is the ability to cause change. However, um, energy is really the ability to do work. If I push on something and I make it move through a distance, I'm exerting a force through a distance. I'm doing work. But how can I do that? I have to do that because of the energy that I have. So when I do work, I transfer the energy from my body into the object that I'm moving. And like I said, I need energy to do that work. Where do I get my energy? I get my energy from food. So work transfers into energy. Energy can be transferred into work. They are sort of two sides of the same coin, and they both use the unit of joules. Now, energy comes in different forms. Some of them are more familiar than others. We have mechanical energy, and this is sort of the energy of everyday objects. It's the sum of what we call kinetic or moving energy and potential, which we call stored energy. So when you see a ball moving through the air, or a car moving, or a windmill turning, wind blowing, sound being made, those are all forms of mechanical energy, everyday things that happen. Now, we also have electrical energy, and this is the movement of charged particles. So, when we talk about charged particles, we're talking about protons, neutrons, electrons, ions. But typically, the electrons that are moving when you are running an electric current. We have chemical energy. We talked about chemical bonds being formed, covalent and ionic bonds. When those bonds form, energy is stored in those bonds. And we see this, the chemical energy in the example of, say, gasoline or food. When we burn food, when we burn gasoline, that energy is released and it allows us to function, or it allows our car to go. We have radiant energy, which is heat and light. So when you look, try not to look right at the sun, but you see the sun's light. You feel the sun's heat. You can see that in the heating element of a toaster or in a stove, or if you look at a fire. You don't have to touch it in order to feel those things. And then finally, we have nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is the energy that's stored in the nuclei of atoms. Remember that protons and neutrons are in the nucleus of atoms, and protons do not want to be by other protons. They are both positive. They want to push each other apart. And so it takes an extremely strong force, which is called the strong force, to bind them together. And that requires a lot of energy. And if you can split the nucleus of an atom, you can release all kinds of energy. And in fact, we do use that with nuclear fission reactions in power plants. And we've also witnessed that in the atomic bomb. All right, now we can transfer energy from one form to another, and in fact, it happens all the time. So, for example, here's how does a monkey use energy conversion to leap from tree to tree? Well, you've got the sun. Everything we have pretty much starts at the sun. You have a banana tree that takes in that radiant heat, which is formed from nuclei forming. So you've got nuclear energy in the sun converting into radiant heat and light energy. The plant converts that into chemical energy in the carbohydrates in the banana. The monkey eats the banana, and then the chemical energy stored in that is taken into his muscle cells where it's broken down. And that now you've got mechanical energy and heat flow, and then the monkey is able to contract those muscles and turn that into more mechanical energy. All right, now in your own body, again, this is kind of same thing, but we eat plants or we eat animals that ate plants, and so we're getting that energy from the food we eat. And then again, our muscles contract, just like the example with the monkey and the banana. All right, in a car, you've got the sun. Again, you're like, how does the sun do that? Well, what do cars burn? Cars burn gasoline, which is a fossil fuel, which is plants that existed, millions of years ago that have turned into crude oil, which was converted into gasoline. But those plants initially took that energy in from the sun. And then we burn that gas and we change that chemical energy into thermal energy, which heats up some water, and that causes pistons inside the engine to actually move. And that's mechanical energy, and that helps the drivetrain and everything, makes the wheels move. All right, here's a little video explaining how we get electricity.
Here's a question for you. How many people does it take to turn on a light bulb? The answer seems simple. Just walk into a dark room, flip a switch, and instantly you can see, right?
Well, the truth is there's a lot more to generating and delivering electrical power than you've probably imagined.
Hi, I'm Lee Patrick Sullivan with Energy Now, and this Energy 101 video explains the system used to generate electricity. And it also explains what it really takes to turn on a light bulb.
In order to understand energy, we first need to start at the source, literally. Mother Nature provides the natural resource we use to generate power. From natural gas to coal, ocean tides to mountain winds, the energy we need to create electricity must first be mined, harnessed, or collected from the earth. Some of these resources are finite, including fossil fuels like coal and oil, but others are unlimited, like solar or wind power. But a lump of coal or a strong breeze alone won't create the power that turns on your light. For every energy source, a chemical or mechanical process is required to turn it into usable electricity. Every day, researchers work to find innovative ways to use our limited resources, process raw materials, harness renewables more efficiently, and find entirely new energy sources. Today, the majority of America's electricity comes from thermal power plants. Fuels like coal, natural gas, biomass, and uranium are used to heat water until it produces steam, which powers a turbine and generates electricity. That steam turns propeller-like blades around the rotor inside the turbine. This turning rotor connects to a main shaft, which spins magnets with a coil inside a generator. It's the generator inside the turbine that converts mechanical energy into electric energy and creates electricity. Steam is an efficient method of producing electricity because the water can be recycled and reused as it changes back and forth between liquid and gaseous states. Transporting electricity from the power plant to your home is an entirely different process. Current technology cannot cost-effectively store large amounts of electricity, so significant challenges exist when it comes to transferring that electricity across long distances. Just enough electricity has to be generated to meet demand at all times and be transmitted through power lines to reach your light switch. Too much or too little power can crash the transmission system and cause a blackout. That's why a complex mix of logistics, management, and infrastructure is needed to transmit electricity from power generators to consumers. Enter the electricity grid, also known as simply the grid. The North American electricity grid is actually made of four large grid systems: the Western grid, the Eastern grid, the Texas grid, and a grid covering the Canadian province of Quebec. These independent regional networks of power plants and transmission lines carry electric energy at high voltage within their area to local utilities. There are very limited links between the four grids, which means electricity generated from a wind turbine in West Texas cannot reach an apartment building in New York City. For electricity to move through one of the four grids, its voltage must first be increased by a device called a transformer. Then the electricity can travel long distances across high-voltage transmission lines. These high-voltage lines are generally strung between giant metal towers. They stretch for miles from power plants to local substations in each neighborhood. You've probably seen substations along the side of the road and wonder what they do. Well, their job is stepping down electric voltages from levels as high as 765,000 volts closer to the 110 volts you use in your home. The electricity from the power line on your street passes through another transformer, which steps down the voltage once more and then it travels along the line into your house. From there, the electricity enters your breaker box, and it is then distributed to light sockets and outlets. All you have to do is flip a switch. So, as you can see, from the raw materials to the power lines on your street, there's so much more to the electricity ecosystem than meets the eye.
All right, and again, they just explained what goes on in a light bulb. Power plant basically changes chemical energy into electrical energy through the use of a turbine, where it becomes mechanical energy, and that mechanical energy spins magnets in a wire, which causes the electrons to start moving, and that is electrical energy, and then that electrical energy powers the light bulb. No matter what type of transformation we undergo, though, heat is always lost. All right, that is the end.